Call the Public Works Committee meeting to order. Roll call.
Cindy,
Here.
Seth,
Here.
Todd,
Here.
Andrew.
Here.
Crystal.
Here. First period for public comment. No one is here. Is anyone online who would like to share an opinion with us this evening?
We got a few people online, but it doesn't look like anybody wants to make a public comment.
Okay. Approval of committee minutes from August 19th, 2025.
Sestado approved the minutes for August 19th, 2025.
Oh.
There, look at this.
And this is Crystal. I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying
Aye. Aye. Aye.
carried. Discussion with possible action on ordinance revising section 13.20.050 regarding sewer charges. I guess that's Cheryl.
That is me. So this is the ordinance that discusses the rates. Nothing has changed in here except we have increased the rates, the appropriate 6%. So, where the fixed charge would be October, excuse me, we did change the effective date, effective October 1st. Where the fixed charge would be the usage charge per 100 cubic feet, we increased that from 619 to 656. And the base fee, or what's called fixed charge in the ordinance, is from 1889 to 2002. And then as normal and usual, we increased our hauler rates by, we have a series of formulas that were developed to help us figure out the chemicals we use and how to pay for them and the different time and labor that it takes. I believe Sarah spent a lot of time figuring that out several years ago when she first started here. And so it's to prevent any ratepayers from having to carry the hauler cost as well as we charge the haulers. So the formula that she has, we increase the 6% as well. And then we also have a special category for the leachate, which we don't take near as much as we used to anymore. Leachate is from the county landfill, but we still increase that as well. And then that goes up appropriate 6%. So that's really the only thing we've changed is just the cost.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we need to approve this ordinance revising section.
And this is Crystal. I'll move that we approve the ordinance revising section 13.20.050 regarding the sewer charges. Do you need me to say the amounts? Okay.
Sestado, second it.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call? No. Okey doke. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Construction project updates.
Okay. I'm not going to take too much time, but I am going to take the time that I never have
Yeah.
to go through a few things. So obviously, the most burning construction issue is Center Avenue. We're getting ready to start that. So I just wanted to show you a little bit about where you can find more information, talk a little bit about it. So let's see. So I guess the long story short, while we wait for it to be able to share the screen, is that they are telling us that they could start as soon as Friday. So yeah, not wasting any time. Realistically, I would say that, they always want to give us the most worst case scenario or soonest they would be here. I would say it's a little bit iffy that they're going to show up on Friday, but they're going to start moving equipment in. I think a lot of it just depends on the weather that we have and how they can wrap up the current projects they're working on. What they'd like to do is start removing the asphalt from the road on Friday, which I really would prefer them to do on Monday. So I'm not that worried if they don't show up, but that's how we're presenting the message right now, is that they could show up as soon as Friday. So I just gonna show you, like, if you wanna, I know AJ had asked before about like how to find information about the project. And it was a little bit buried before because it was under Public Works construction projects, but now it's on the front page. And so you can click here and find out just a little bit about that. We're gonna start soon. And then you can click on our whole site, the whole webpage. And so I guess the one thing that I would say is really important is that if people want those weekly updates that we send out, they can click on this online and then it'll fill a form and I can add them to the mailing list. So obviously you all will be on it, but I don't just put people like the public on it unless they ask. And so if someone calls you or asks you and you say, this is always a good place to direct them. And then it talks a little bit about our phases. And so I guess that would be the first thing is that all that's happening on Friday, and I say all, it's a big deal. I think this is one of the biggest deals parts because it's going to block Center Avenue from Decker to Parkinson. And there's going to be periods of being open and not open. So like meaning nobody's going to be able to get through Center Avenue in those sections for parts of this next month-ish. It could be 2 weeks, it could be a month, but they'll always tell you the worst case scenario. So we agreed that we're going to say a month. And the reason being is that they're going to go from Parkinson and they're going to put the 2 blocks of everything in at a time. So like they're going to, I think they said they're going to start with water, then they're going to move to sewer, then they're going to do the storm sewer, then they're going to build the road, right? So like, oh, and I missed an important step. After they put all that in, they're going to put the laterals, connect the water and sewer lines, right? So they go through that whole section about 4 times. And then they build the road. And in those times, people will be able to traverse it. I would say pedestrians certainly can get through there, but it's not going to be pretty. So like they usually try to keep the sidewalk in for as long as possible, but it's always something to be mindful of if you have a wheelchair or something that you can't necessarily navigate easily through uneven ground. That could be the case. You could have to walk in areas that are not ideal. And then in some cases they'll be open to drive on, but I'm going to suggest that the large semi-traffic, things like that, just always take the detours and not go through because it's not going to be a great surface to drive on. And so that's 2 blocks. So that Center Avenue section. And then if time permits, because we want to make sure that the whole road is closed, meaning like everything's done and asphalt is on before the winter. If we can still get the project done and go to Jefferson, they're going to move to Jefferson next. And the 1 block I'm really pushing for is the section between Main Street and Center Avenue. It is so bad. That's in front of the post office. There are dangerous spots all over the place there. And so I'm really hoping they get at least there. And then they prefer to do the 2 blocks that are Jefferson. And so that was one of the things I wanted to show you here is like, I think it's really weird to see like, what the heck are we talking about in terms of like which blocks are being done? So the whole project, this may but not have been the best one to show, but the whole project is from Parkinson all the way down to South Street. We're not doing that all right now, but that is eventually what's going to happen. And then it's like a stepped system. We do 1 block of Court, 2 blocks of Jefferson, and 3 blocks of Terhune. And the reason being is it's just connecting with either other projects that are already done, or we know that Court Street needs like the entire length, more or less, to be done in the future. And so it was like, where do we stop? This was a good place for us to stop. So obviously, most of this is in 2026, but there's a good section that's in 2025, and that's laid out under construction phases. It's like more text, but that's the general.
Can I ask you 2 questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
The first Parkinson's to Decker, are the people without service when you were dug up, when you said?
So yeah, that was good lead in. So they're going to tear off the surface. It'll be drivable, but people will still have water and sewer operating. They'll always have, well, more or less have sewer to use. Then on Monday, they're going to have a water shut off. They need to tie in to the existing line. And so it should only be like half an hour, but we always tell people it's longer than that because things happen. So Greg was just starting to get a list together because he's trying to figure out which valves he can trust and which ones he doesn't feel as good about. And then we'll work with the clerks to call people, notify people. We always try to notify people 24 hours in advance, at least, or excuse me, 48 hours in advance, at least 24 hours. So sometimes we don't always have as much heads up from the contractor, but we try to push them back. And so there'll be a small interruption there, and then there'll be a couple times where we have small interruptions where we're connecting into the existing lines. So that's going to happen a couple times. And right now looks like it might be a little bigger area than we were hoping, meaning some of the businesses or some of the properties on Main Street be off of Decker north for a block may actually be impacted by this shut off. Again, it comes down to how trustworthy the valves are that we're closing that section with. So that was one of the things.
Another question I had,
Mhm.
Terhune is going to get the diagonal parking once that's
Correct.
done.
It'll look like the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, it just wasn't wide enough. Well, part of it was wide enough, but not all of it was wide enough. If you noticed, it was kind of hard to tell unless you looked at it, but Terhune, like you would go in, it was wider, and then as you went east, it narrowed in. Yeah. So because of that, we weren't able to make it fit, but it will look like the other side. And it should work pretty well. Because there's a fair amount of space there. Okay, water shut off. So I know I've had different interactions with people about like when they knew about it. So just if anybody asks, we did have a public meeting, which we sent an email or a letter to everybody that's in the area, and that was on June 25th. And we do have that as a slideshow on the website. And then Carson went around with a flyer that had, I should have brought it downstairs, a QR code, and it said, go to the website if you want more information. We're getting ready to start. So that's another way that we've contacted people. You can sign up for the email list. It shows you how to do that, or it directs you how to do that. But then I've also talked to a number of businesses that I know are going to be affected that may not have obviously got notices, like Walgreens and the food co-op, right? So like they're not right there, but they're close enough that that's going to impact their driving. And so obviously people are going to need to be on Main more, on Broadway more, and on Rusk more. But we are going to have no parking on Church between Rusk and Main Street, because it's really narrow and trucks are going to be turning in there and traffic is. So we're not necessarily having a formal detour. They're telling people to always go one way, but we're, going to try to make it as easy as we can. And we'll just have to try it. I mean, if we find one spot's not working, we just make changes. And of course, anyone can come and talk to me. I've tried to talk to those folks that I know will have an issue, but sometimes people are like, will reach out to you and say like, I have access issues or something. How am I going to get out? Like direct them to me, because we'll just make sure it works for everyone. We're not going to put somebody in a situation where they need to get out of their house and can't because of mobility or whatever.
Did you say Carson handed out cards to?
Yeah, he gave flyers to all the
Flyers.
businesses that would be,
The
and
business-
properties that were in the direct area of starting right now this year. So he went Parkinson to Decker, that stretch for Center, and then also on Jefferson for 2 blocks.
Wow, yeah, very good.
Because it's hard, because you don't want the message. It's because it's a split construction year. It's kind of interesting. Okay, well, so I'm happy to answer any questions there, but I just want everybody to know about this is coming up, and you'll see it as soon as on Friday. Let's see. So,
So just real quick question. Allison at the chamber, you guys were able to,
she asked me about the wine walk, but she hasn't asked me
Okay.
anything specifically more about, just connecting her about all of it.
and that's probably where she's at right now, just generally being new. I just didn't know if, it sounds like Carson really got ahead of it with those flyers, but I didn't know if the business community in general was asking more questions about the project than.
Yeah. Well, I will say next year, is gonna be the year for them to get a lot more involved, I would say, because just we're more in people's spaces. I certainly would be even with Jefferson, but yeah, but I can certainly reach out to her too.
Yeah, no,
have
I didn't think, I just let
Yeah.
her know, like, hey, this is a big project, very adjacent or through
Right.
downtown, and so just so you know that this is coming and but it sounds like not yet.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think we're
good.
okay, but like I said, I can certainly reach out to her. The other place I've been trying to connect with that I haven't done is the post office, because eventually we'll be in front of there
Right.
on Jefferson.
Well, she's got the wine walk and the chamber bash going, so.
Mhm. Well, and it's the wine walk she was most worried about, I think, whether they had to move the Nelsons, because they have like a booth at Nelson's or something like that. Okay, so on other things that are construction related, the salt shed is, as you know, the concrete's up. It's looking good. We have a few things that inspector wanted them to do about joints, but he was really impressed at the style that they did it. They have like the old frames, like the old forms rather. He said it was like really efficient, but he hasn't seen people do it like that for a while. So it's kind of interesting. Hopefully that means we have some really solid stuff. So we're waiting for the framing, right? So like it's I don't know, 20 foot of concrete, right? And then we're gonna be putting the wood on top, right? So that's the next step, and he'll be any day now getting that started. And then the steel, they did make us pick colors, so it's gonna be because the concrete is literally most of the building, we just went with the color that matched the concrete, so it didn't look like there was like this tiny building on top of these tall walls. And then have like a darker kind of charcoaly colored trim and roof. So
Nice.
it's not intended to stick out, but we also don't want it to look poor, so I think it'll look good. I think that's it for my construction project stuff. I don't really know what category to put this in, but we do have one resurfacing left this year. So I don't know if you have been taking tally, but I have, and it's still there. And I have a conversation with Nate tomorrow so I can sort of plan my direction, but it was intentionally held off because of, it was supposed to be Chicago Avenue for one block. I held it off because of the capital improvement plan and knowing that we consumed more of it to do the salt shed. And I wasn't sure where we were going. And there's a project in there that I have a 3-block project on East South Street that if it would get pushed off, I would do it 1 block at a time. It would be kind of a pain in the butt, but at least it would get done versus not getting done at all. So that's why I've been waiting to see how things play out. But I guess that would be the other construction on the horizon.
So you're doing some of East South, but not Chicago? Is that what you said?
Well, if I had to choose, I would choose South Street, but just be doing it all broken up instead of as a project. But if they both can go, that would be the best case scenario, but I didn't want to be left without being able to do that sometime in the near future.
Okay. Was FS Drive, anything about that ever? I know that,
Well, I mean, what they were looking for there is curb. And we don't typically have curb on a lot of this stuff in those kind of scenarios. And
yeah,
it's a big project. I haven't heard from them in a while. For something that would be a change like that, it would certainly usually be moved by the property owner. But I think the property owner, the person contacting me is not the property owner for the location that they want the work done.
right.
So that's a possibility. Once all of these other things roll out, we could look about what we might want to do. But even though it seems like it's not that big of a deal, it actually is a lot of work to put curb in and very expensive. So,
Mhm.
and not typically what we're going after on those kinds of projects. But again, something to look at. It's not on our current plan.
Well, thank you for corresponding with them. I know
Yeah.
you went back and forth. I appreciated that.
Oh, for
very
sure.
much. And appreciate all this other things that you tell us about the QR codes and the flyers and the letter sent, and that's just sounds really good.
Yeah.
People will still say that, someone will still say they didn't know, but
Right.
you did everything you could, I think.
Well, and today Trina and I joined forces on it, and she's got it on Facebook, and
There we
I'm
go.
assuming she sent it out as a press
I saw
release.
it.
Yeah. So who knows? I might have to be on TV about it again. She had me on the radio with her. I was there, and Ernie was nice to me.
You gotta suck up to
He-
him.
no, don't say that in a mean way because I find it funny.
get him
But
a
he
kick-
was like
get a
really
kick out of it.
complimentary. So
Yeah. Well,
I was
good.
kind of taken aback.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
Okay, is that in for construction? Anybody have any more questions? Okay, street and utility department updates.
Okay, let's see. I always get the guys to send me their list. We'll start with streets because then we can lead into, oops, that's not streets. Okay, so they've been working on brush and compost, lots of mowing, some tree cutting. They finished up some painting. So if you notice, there's like the gold line on Broadway finally showed up. That one was missing. The left hand, like it was kind of confusing to see how if you were on West Broadway going onto Decker, what lane you were supposed to be in. There's like a right-hand turn lane and a lane that can goes left and then a lane that takes traffic. A lot of signs got put up as well. And so they were working with the police department pretty closely with Rick trying to get signs up like along that area because it used to have some parking. It's a little bit different when the county shop was there. There was a driveway and stuff like that. Let's see what else. So I just the guys had started working on Prairie Wind Way. We were going to seal coat it and we started like basically tore the whole thing up and widened it. So they had the worst go at it at the beginning because it rained like right while they had started it and it got really soft, but it's hardened up quite a bit. There is one spot though that's soft, and so they're gonna work on it and then let it settle, and then we'll probably seal coat it in the spring instead of this year. It's got a little bit of bumps that they're going to work out when they go and fix that, but I will say that driving there is just so much nicer, so much more room. You can pass somebody driving now. I'm a soccer mom again, so going through that, and it was so broken up before. It was in really bad shape. So they did a nice job. It was, a lot of them doing things for the first time. So it was a good little project. Let's see. If you remember, we approved that painting and they came in and did it 2 days later. That was great. So I don't know if you've noticed, it's not necessarily super obvious. Some of the lines, we didn't do the lines just for budget purposes, but all those turning arrows in the intersection on the north end of town where Quick Trip is at County BB, that looks so much better. You can see it now. So we'll see how that goes, how long it lasts. That epoxy, I think, is a great change. I just always an FYI, we've had 2 mowers break down for various reasons over the last 2-3 weeks. We're working it out, but it's just always mechanical equipment. And we do a lot of mowing at this time of year. The other thing, well, actually 2 things. One is if you remember, we got TAPCO, that annual maintenance. They're hopefully coming in next week. And what we really need fixed is the Opticon isn't working I think it's the southbound direction. So that's the equipment that when the police and fire need an emergency, they press a button so they get a green light. It works on 2 sides, 3 sides, but one isn't working. And so we've tried a few things about like, is there something on it? Just simple things, but none of that ended up being the case. So we got that on the docket. And then I guess the other thing on the street department, and it's kind of been mostly street department, the littlest bit utility, but the guys have still been helping, is at the landfill. So I am so sad I lost Carson. He went back to school almost, but I'm so sad because he learned how to do the sampling. So Tyrell and him were like a little team, and I came sometimes to help and Dustin's come sometimes to help. But he was so great and so like meticulous at doing like his side of it. So I had to go out today twice and I was thinking, what just happened? I lost like so much help. But anyway, everybody, it's been a lot of people from the street department working out there, and we're doing monitoring and just kind of like setting up different scenarios where we're testing things. Right now, we have the blower for the confined space entry, trying to vacuum out air or gas just to see like how much it will work. And so we've been doing some experiments because we do know that the DNR is going to come back to us and say that you need to take the next step. They haven't done it yet, but we're kind of waiting. And so Mike's current mode is get as much information as we can before we have to make a decision about where we're going. And that kind of leads into, I'm not asking for this yet, but it sounds pretty likely, I would say very likely, that we're going to have to do monthly monitoring indefinitely on that landfill. And right now we're renting the equipment we're using. It looks like it's in that $17,000 to $20,000 range for such equipment. And eventually it's not going to make economical sense for us to do that anymore because it's far away. We got to get the equipment. If we rent it for a few days, it's like $500. If we rent it for the month, it's $2,000, so it's like very quickly, it just doesn't make sense anymore. So I guess I put that out there, not asking for it yet, but I will say probably very soon. I think that's it I guess, speaking of Carson, we also had Cassidy work for the street department. He went back to school as well, but it was really great having an extra set of hands there. And then Slade, our newest hire, got his CDL, which is so awesome. I will say he was so motivated to get that done. He got it done really quickly. So yeah, that's on the street side. On the utility side, I'm just going to keep going, Cheryl, and then you can wrap it up at the end. Okay. Oh God.
We're doing good. We got
We've
plenty of
the
time.
I'm not going to take too much longer, but I will
Unlike
say,
2 weeks ago when we were rushing through
well, this is why, like, there's these things I've been wanting to tell you for like months, but it just haven't had time. Okay. So poor Greg and the whole utility guys, they just keep having these like situations happen that are just not ideal and so weird. Like the lift station situation, right? We had the pump that wasn't working and they knew it was like a seal, and we went through all of that stuff at City Hall oh my gosh, J Street lift station. And then, well, that all happened. We ended up having the other Highway 56 lift station blow up on us. And so, they've been dealing with that. Obviously, everything's resolved except for 56 needs to get everything that we had approved, which is basically rebuilding like the pipe work and stuff, which is going to happen in about 2 to 3 weeks. Then we ended up having a leak at the wastewater plant on the recycle line, which is about the best line we could possibly have a leak on, which is essentially our water recycle line, because there's also another recycle line. We, instead of using potable water on things like cleaning the screen at the front or like rinsing out the sludge digester, we have these yard hydrants and we use water that comes from the effluent. So they went out, and of course the piping is in just the like where old piping is, everything crosses through and it's under asphalt. And so they went out and they dug it up and found like a bunch of holes underneath where the joint of the pipe is. And this is 8-year-old ductile iron pipe. Like this should never, ever happen at all. Like 80 years would be something where you would expect ductile iron pipe. So that was weird. You shouldn't be like that. We started like trying to figure out things. And then once that kind of got resolved, it started leaking at another spot. So we're really concerned about what's going on. And we've been talking to the engineers who did the work in the first place about like, why is this happening? Because this should not be happening at all. Some of the theories we've come up with is like incompatible metals that they put like to make the pipe connective so you can trace it. They put like wires or metal that goes like strips that go on either side, and they did it a little differently. So we're not sure if it's the metal, how they welded it, how they grinded it. Like, so all that is a possibility. And we started thinking about like, is it stray voltage on to the pipe somehow? And then it's like, because it's galvanized corrosion, and trying to figure out all of these, it's just going to be a mystery, and we're trying to figure it out because Greg does a great job about trying to figure out how to fix things. And so he's been really focused on it, and we have a plan, But what I'm most concerned about right now is why it's happening, because we do have ductile iron pipe in the plant that was installed by the same contractor that connects to our digester and our hauled waste station, and those things are under pressure. So that would be a nightmare. So I need to feel that everybody needs to feel better that like this is isolated to these sections of pipes and not related to that, and then figure out why. So that's what we're currently working through. We're gonna open the pipe up tomorrow and stick a camera in to see if we can figure out, is it just at those joints? Because it is, that would give us other ideas, but about like how it was applied, like the stripping or the straps. So anyway, long story short, I was talking to Matt Mukow and he's like, you guys just have the weirdest problems. And I'm like, I don't know where this is all coming from, but hopefully this is a quick resolution, but I'm a little worried we're going to have a conversation about this for a while. We found out that we officially can close our loan on October 22nd for the Center Avenue, which is like, we were trying to get it to go ahead of the project and then realized that it just wasn't going to work that way. The DNR just does that. Usually we'd have to get interim financing, and we don't have to get interim financing for this project, but they have officially set a closing date of October 22nd. So that's good, because it means that Cheryl doesn't have to scramble to try to figure out where money is coming from for the project, because it reimburses us as we go, right? So, and I would say the last thing is we have a PFAS report that we have to do. It's a part of our permit. It's due at the end of the month. And it sounds like we might be able to get out of doing the testing as frequently. The DNR rep said, like, if your data is like it was before, ask for this exemption. So hopefully that goes smoothly. All right, Cheryl.
Okay. So I don't know if anybody has seen the article in the Vernon Reporter about our water and sewer rate change chronological order, but it's in there. It's a good article. If you get a chance to read it, I think it was posted Sunday. I
Yeah, the
believe.
31st. Yeah, I think you're right. I
Yeah.
thought I haven't read it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty fair. It explains, you know, how we're really trying to look out for the customer while looking out for the utility being financially stable, and what the thought process goes into these sewer increases and water increases. It also does explain why we needed to change the water increase from October to November. So that's cute. I haven't gotten a call from the paper yet, so I don't know. Yes. The other thing is finally, I was able to get a final disbursement request and all of the closeout documents for the lead service line grant for our 6 customers sent out this morning. Every time I was actually ready about a month and a half ago, and every time Sarah and I thought we were done, we'd get an email. Oh, but now you need this. Now you need that. Oh, and here's your closeout letter. What? And when we had to get waivers, and they came back and said that we needed to have certified payrolls. And I'm like, wait a minute, we've addressed this like a year ago. So I went through literally 268 emails and several folders of information and notes to be able to prove that the state did say we would be waived from certified payrolls. And I did, and they made a ruling on it Friday. I got the notification that they officially waived it. So I just had to get one of Lori's signatures, because I totally spaced that I needed to. And then off they went. So I am hoping we get money soon, and I don't get another email saying, oh, but we need this. I know. So
Those 6 people have no idea. oh,
they really don't.
No. Yeah.
And otherwise, that's really
Kudos.
about it. We're just
Wow.
kind of gearing up for the fall, and gearing up for, I hate to say it, audit and year end, and it's gone really quickly. So yeah,
Thank you, Cheryl.
that's it. Thanks. Bye.
Sorry, you're still here. Sorry, that didn't work. Anybody have any questions? Oh, you guys do such a good job of explaining things. Okey dokey. Second period for public comment. Still no one here. Anyone online change their mind and want to ask a question? Yeah, going twice. Okey doke, adjournment.
Gotta make motion to adjourn.
You don't have to say it so fast. You really could say it slower if you wanted.
JJ, I'll second.
I said it right, then I still got it.
No, well, it's like once you start, you've got it, you could,
I can't, once I start, yeah.
then you're going, okay, I'm just teasing. Okay, okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you very much.